What's going on, guys? It's Mouth of the Mark. It's Sunday, which means we're a day late, but we've had some technical problems if you can't tell. We've got Daniel on a tablet. I'm on my computer. Windows 10 is fucking us right now. So we're here, finally. We're going to review NXT's Takeover from Brooklyn, and we're going to give our SummerSlam predictions today. If we can finally get through a video shot, this is probably our fourth or fifth try.
Yeah, at least.
So we're working on borrowed time here, so we're not going to waste any time. Let's just jump straight into NXT, Daniel. NXT was live, man, and Triple H came out with a killer promo. For an intro. You can tell that he's really proud of how far NXT has come in the last year, 2 years. It's his baby, and they packed that arena to the brim. And the little promo he did was great, and it led into a great first match between Tyler Breeze and Jushin Thunder Liger. So,
Awesome
what
match.
can we say, man?
I mean, the spots were great. It was cool to see Liger work a WWE style match. You know, he didn't try to work Japanese strong style. Like, he worked a sports entertainment match, and he did it really well, surprisingly, because I don't think I've ever seen him do, like those kind of same kind, almost gimmicky kind of spots. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Liger do anything like that before. So I thought it was great. Breeze was awesome. I was kind of shocked that they put Liger over on him. But to me, I think that they're actually going to try to take this. I think they may have actually signed Liger. I think he might actually be with Breeze for a while. I think they're going to do more than just this match with him.
If he signed, I will be so ecstatic, dude. Like, I thought it was weird that he went over. I actually dropped the match in rating because I watched this assuming that it was a one-off, and I actually only gave this match a 4 out of 5 because Liger went over. The match was great. The spots were great. I just thought that the wrong guy won. But if WWE has signed Jushin Thunder Liger to a deal, then that makes it a million times better.
Right.
So what'd you think, man? I mean, I gave it a 4 out of 5.
I gave it an A+, dude. I gave it an A+. You know me, I'm a letter grade kind of guy. So I gave it an A+. I thought the match was great. Because, I mean, to me, it's like, this isn't main card WWE where there's a shitload of politics and stuff like that. This is Triple H's baby, and I don't think that he's stupid enough to just do a one-off and then bury Breeze. Like, Breeze is one of your top heels down there. It's kind of a baby face too. He's one of your top workers, period, down there. You don't want to just, put on this huge show and then have him job and the opening match. That doesn't make any sense. This has to be more than just a one-off.
I would hope so. I would hope it was more than a one-off. After that, they did a couple of panoramic shots. They showed the Click chilling in the audience, which is kind of cool. And then they had a Nia Jax promo, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but Nia Jax, the character, isn't that the chick that's The Rock's cousin?
I don't know. I have no idea who she is. Actually, I meant to Google it afterwards, but I thought the teaser package was cool.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty cool package. So after those two little bitty interludes, we had the Vaudevillains versus Blake and Murphy, and I was so glad when Blue Pants came out. I was like, Blue Pants!
Yeah, she got a huge pop, man, and it was great. She works really well with those guys.
That match was great. That entire match was great. I gave that one a 4.5. They had great spots. Those two teams had great chemistry. The near falls were perfect. They had you going because in those last two sequences, you were like, oh, man, who's going over? Because every time they did what they were supposed to do, because every time somebody kicked out, you were like, oh, man, now the other team is going to win or something like that. The constant like confusion of who's going to win. And it was perfect.
Yeah, I thought it was really good, man. I thought the false finishes were awesome. It felt like a classic old school tag team match, almost like a Memphis style, Mid-South style match. All the false finishes were really good. The actual finish was really good. I was kind of surprised they put the Vaudevillains over, but I'm okay with it. Again, I don't think this is an end to their feud. I think that they're going to keep going with it, and their matches were great. Gotch is totally the other guy, though, man. I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad worker, but every time Aiden English got in there, he was just so much more smooth to me. That's just my, as my opinion as a mark. But I gave this match an A+ too, man. It was a top notch match. All the girl involvement was great. Alexa Bliss is wicked hot. I mean, it was great. I enjoyed it. Blue Pants did a great job. Yeah, A+.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Simon Gotch is the other guy of this tag team. And that's unfortunate because I really like Simon Gotch. But Aiden English is going to be the star of the tag team. He's going to be that guy that goes on.
Yeah, I think the tag team is successful on their own. I think they'll do well with him and Gotch. I just think that when they eventually break it up, Aiden English is the star for sure.
Yeah, yep, without a doubt. So after that match, they showed Finn Balor coming to the arena, and who's he with? Adrian Neville and Cesaro. I hope this gives some credence to the fact that they're going to start a Balor Club on a show, and that will be awesome. And I'm hoping
if they do, it'll have to be on the main show though. Otherwise, you're bringing both those guys back down, and you've already got main show. Things going on for them. And I hope that they don't start doing, well, WWE, guys can just be on NXT, like, whenever they want. That's, I don't like that. Like, they should keep them separate to me.
They should.
Like, little things like in the back where they came out, came into the arena with them and gave them a hug. Like, that's cool. Totally fine with that. Like, showing WWE superstars in the crowd, that's totally fine. I just don't think that they should go the back and forth. I don't dig that.
No, as far as working, they shouldn't work both. That's for sure. Right. So yeah, if they do the Balor Club, Balor needs to be on the main roster without a doubt.
Agreed.
So Ty Dillinger versus Apollo Crews, and my first comment on here is, man, Ty Dillinger is the new CJ Parker. The debut guy.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you finish, but I got a lot to say about that.
But Uha is here, bruh. I mean, how freaking dude! I was pumped as soon as I saw Ty Dillinger out. I was like, "Oh, Apollo Crews is coming!" And sure enough, that dude got a pop, a huge pop. It was great.
It was really good.
I'm a huge Uha mark. I gave that entire match a 5 out of 5 because I don't give a shit. Because I like the match. I like that. When Uha did the perfect 10 and he did the springboard and the backflip, I literally laughed out loud, and my wife looked at me like I was stupid. But it was hilarious. Yeah, I gave it a 5 out of 5 because I was marking out. But I'm sure if I watched it again, I would find some faults in it. But I don't like him having the moonsault as a finisher. I wish he would have a different finish. But that's about it. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, man, this was my lowest rated match because I felt like Uha was living up to the hype for sure. I felt like they spent too much time making Dillinger look like an equal, and he's not an equal. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got too much in. Dillinger held the rest hold way too long. I mean, like, the crowd was already trying to get pumped up and then lost it, and they started booing in the middle of the submission hold. Like, he didn't feel the crowd. I think he was just going from what they had pre-planned, and that was definitely not a good idea. They definitely should have kind of gone with the crowd a little bit more. I mean, Uha was great. I honestly felt like Dillinger really dropped the ball, and I felt like this was his effort to kind of put him on an equal playing field with those guys. And really, I felt like this match would have been better if it would have been less time. It should not have taken him that long to beat Ty Dillinger. I mean, to me, it really hurt Apollo Crews' character. Like, to me, right now, he's an opening match guy on NXT. Like, he's the opening guy. He's a guy that's going to do a job to Corbin. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he seemed like to me. And that's not okay. So, I mean, I know we marked out for Uha because we know Uha, but I'm saying, like, as far as Apollo Crews, right now he's an opening guy.
I agree with Dillinger getting too much time in because, I mean, Dillinger hasn't done shit for the last year, I don't think. And, I mean, just for him to get that much offense on Uha, yeah, I didn't like it. But it meant that I got to see more of a comeback and more offense from Uha, so I was happy about it. And I guess that's why I rated it so high, is because I got to see more of him, which is good. I like it. And I guess to give credence to that, as far as him being just an opening guy, let him be. He'll crush some people. He'll work a couple of programs, and then he'll be going for a title probably. But how many possibilities do we have right now, dude, with Apollo Crews? NXT, even though they're bringing people up, they're still pretty stacked, man. You've got
Yeah.
Hideo coming back. You've got Zayn coming back, even though I've heard rumors of Zayn possibly coming back just straight to the main roster. Um, so I don't know, man. I think they're pretty set, and
Wherever Owens is, that's where Zayn's coming back.
Yeah,
That's what's happening.
Yep, and I'm pretty sure. Well, we'll get into it. So after that, they showed a pan over to the Tough Enough guys, and they got the shit booed out of them in that building. I laughed at that too. But after that, it was Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin, and the package going into this match. I loved the package. I don't know if you like the video package or not, but that package was bomb. I'm not a big fan of Baron Corbin as a worker, and I have that in my notes going into this match. But he's got a good look. He's got the look that WWE likes. And I had high hopes for this match. First thing I saw, though, I saw somebody hold up a sign in the front that said Joe has an 8 2/3% chance, and I laughed again because that was hilarious. I was like, I'm looking at you, Scott Steiner. I'm looking at you. And honestly, Baron Corbin actually surprised me in this one, man. Like, him and Joe worked their asses off, and Corbin took some pretty sick bumps. For a big guy, he took some pretty good bumps. I'm glad Joe won, and I'm glad that he didn't win by pinfall, because winning by pinfall would definitely hurt Corbin a lot more than the passing out did. I think Corbin should have sold the sleeper a little more than he did, but that's a minor complaint. I gave it an A-, man. It was a great match.
Yeah, I mean, I gave the match an A+. I think I felt like it was the best Corbin has ever looked, and you're right. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by how smooth he worked, and I think that maybe the whole thing for me was the badass baby face is what I didn't really like, but he works that heel gimmick really well. Like, hey, I don't care what these indie wrestlers have done because I don't care about indie wrestling. Like, it doesn't matter to me. All I had to do is make a phone call because I'm an actual athlete. Like, that is a great gimmick for him to use, and he can use that all the way through the main roster. I mean, he could, it doesn't matter. I've actually, won in legitimate sports type thing. Like, I think that he can. I think that he can take that really far. So his new gimmick, the whole new outlook with him being a heel was great. I did give the match an A-. You're right. There were a couple spots that were a little that got whiffed a little bit. The punch where Samoa Joe went to dive through the ropes, and then Baron Corbin caught him. The first one looked great, and then that second one that was supposed to be the big deliver, like, was a wiffle ball. I mean, just straight up whiffed on it. But overall, man, I mean, he kept up with Samoa Joe, dude, and he kept up with Samoa Joe in a sold-out arena like that, and the match was great. So I gave it an A-. It was just little nitpicking things that didn't give it an A+ to me. Hats off to Baron Corbin, most improved for sure. I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Well, and let's be clear here. We're not saying he kept up with Samoa Joe as a bad thing. We're not. I mean, this is not a knock to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, yes, he's an older guy. But
no, it's more of a compliment to Corbin. I mean, Samoa Joe is a phenomenal in-ring worker. You kept up with Samoa Joe. That's like saying you kept up with Chris Jericho. I mean, that's a top-notch thing. And by the way, I do hold Samoa Joe in that high of a regard. To me, Samoa Joe is, as far as in-ring work, is equal playing field with main event, WWE
absolutely
legends,
Oh, absolutely. Joe is one of the top guys this business has seen in the last 25 years.
Agreed.
Period. So after that, they did a little cameo to Nate and Sarge and Kana, and then they also showed Team Bad, which I was like, yeah, look, Sarge and Nate, and oh, look, Team Bad. So Stephanie McMahon came out. There were 15,589 people in that arena. Holy shit. That's a lot of people for an NXT show, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So they've got two main events last night, and the first one was, honestly, this is my match of the night. I don't even care. Sasha Banks and Bayley is my match of the night. Holy shit. 5 out of 5. I'd give it 10 out of 5 if I could. If there was something higher than an A plus with like an infinity symbol next to it, I'd give it that. This match was amazing. I can't even go into it enough because it is just so good. So the floor is yours.
This match was as good as Cena Owens, if not better. To me, this is match of the year so far. I know it's a big compliment to give it, but especially having slept on it, I kept trying to find reasons to say why it wouldn't be, match of the year, or why it wouldn't be. At first it was like, how good was this match? Could this possibly be the best women's match ever? And I was like, yeah, I think it is. Best NXT, especially TakeOver, best women's match I've ever seen. And then I was like, you know what? This might be the best match I've seen all year. And it is the best match I've seen all year. My personal opinion is that this is match of the year. Backing up just a little bit, though, I was honestly not really okay with Stephanie McMahon coming out. I felt like it was, if anything, it would have been smarter to have Triple H come out again and then deliver a little bit more, or have Regal come out. Stephanie McMahon has never been involved with NXT. It makes no sense for her to insert herself anytime there's anything involving a diva. It's starting to bother me. Like, they don't need you. Like, I understand the writing behind it. It's like, oh, well, let's put Steph on it. It'll give some legitimacy to this. It's like, we're already past that point. We don't need you here. You're almost a distraction at this point, in my opinion. But I would like to say, I do want to thank NXT for possibly watching our show, and the fact that I haven't seen Dana Brooke in a while. That makes me really, really happy. I'm glad that she hasn't been on the show. I'm glad that they didn't give her any kind of video package. I'm glad that she is not anywhere to be found, and I hope that they keep it that way. Please keep it that way. She sucks. She's terrible. I don't ever want to see her. We've got other girls that are good. We don't need her. We don't need her. She sucks.
Eva Marie or Dana Brooke? Pick your poison.
Eva Marie. All day. All day. No, dude, before you even finish that question, I have the answer. Eva Marie, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
You heard it here, guys. Daniel says Eva Marie, lay off the redhead.
Oh, no, she's terrible. Eva Marie's garbage. But she's at least she, Eva Marie's a garbage can. Dana Brooke is like the watery residue after like 3 years at the bottom of the garbage can. They're both pretty bad, but I'd rather have the can than the garbage juice. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so here's my thing about this match. I started this match pretty pissed off, I won't lie, because this crowd was red hot for everything. Everything. Until this match started. When this match started, that crowd was quiet as fuck. And in my notes, there were the initial pops. There were the initial pops when they came out. But during, the first bit of work, they quieted down a lot. And I was like, they want more from the women's division, but when it comes to outside of Full Sail, these girls really aren't getting it. And then when it was right around, the top rope double knee spot, they blew up and they never slowed down at that point. The crowd just did not slow down at that point. And I was like, okay, now you're involved and now you're where you need to be.
Yeah.
Because it's as much about the crowd as it is about the people in the ring.
Yeah, oh yeah, totally.
The reaction from the crowd helps the people in the ring. And if you're sitting there on your hands when you're screaming that you want these women to be main eventing, well, you're not doing it right. You know what I mean? And when that top rope spot happened and that "This Is Wrestling" chanted started, I was like, okay, that's it. That's it. So I actually got scared for a minute when Sasha did that over the top rope spot. It looked like she hit her head real bad, but when they showed the replay, it's like when she fell, she actually took it flat back and her head just popped after.
Yeah.
So I was worried when I watched it in real time. I was like, oh shit. And then I saw Bailey crawl over to her like, are you okay? And I'm like, man, please don't be hurt.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it was great though. The finish was great. The 4 horsewoman little reunion in the ring was great. I feel like it might actually turn Sasha Banks into a babyface on the main roster. Might have Team Bad bring it up since they showed him earlier. And then maybe Team Bad and Team Bella kind of go on one side, and then Paige just joins in with PCB. That would make more sense to me than you have like an actual 2-team back and forth, bigger group, 2 factions instead of like a 3-squad thing, But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll find out tonight, I think, honestly. But because I feel like the commentators are going to talk quite a bit about last night. And I think that we might actually even get a backstage segment with Team Bad saying, you know, like what was going on last night with you in the ring and yada, 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 you know.
Yeah, that'd be great. Having a 5-on-5 going into Survivor Series for the Divas would be great because you can have Sasha jump over with Paige, Charlotte, and Becky, and then the rest of Team Bad with the Bellas, and then you bring up Bailey like the week before Survivor Series, and that pop is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Because when Bailey comes up, that's going to complete it, man. I mean, she's the only one left, and she's got to come soon. She's got to come soon, man.
I don't think so. I think that she's going to carry the banner for NXT for a little while. I think that she's going to work Nia Jax. And, I mean, who else do they have right now as far as girls that are wrestling? I mean, no one now. They're done.
Yeah.
They're out. All the women are in the main roster now, you know? So, and they should be. They all deserve to be there. It's just this is what bothers me when you do something like that. When you bring all, like, 3, you know, NXT girls up at one time, like, you really, really deplete – you know, that group. You know, hopefully Nia Jax comes in and she's a beast. You know, hopefully Eva Marie starts working well. Hopefully we see more Emma. I just don't want to see Dana Brooke anymore ever again. But
yeah, I think that's the problem I think that they're gonna be facing with even the guys sometime soon is they're gonna have problems with a lack of talent if they don't keep signing guys. Which they're still signing guys, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they got a lot of guys on the back burner that they use. Like, I know, like, the guy that always does jobs, that Steve Cutler guy, I know they're planning on giving him a push at some point as, like, a hard-ass Marine-style guy. You know, look at Dillinger. They're starting to push him. I mean, they got plenty of guys, and honestly got a lot of tag teams, so I think that they'll break up soon. Like, I don't think that Gable-Jordan tag team is going to last too long because Gable's getting so over. And to me, Gable is, like, a little bit shorter, but pretty much Kurt Angle, dude. Yeah, like, I mean, the way he does everything, the way he's so believable, the way he's just kind of annoying, but in a good way, if that makes sense. Like, I mean, I got high hopes for Gable, man. I think that he's going to be a phenomenal in-ring guy.
Yeah. If you're wondering why WWE didn't re-sign Kurt Angle when his TNA contract came up, look no further than Gable. I mean, that's it. Right there. Because they've got a young Kurt Angle 2.0.
Yeah.
So our final main event, which and I'm not taking anything away from this main event, but the women stole the show.
Yeah.
But Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens in a ladder match, and you knew it was going to be good. And I unfortunately, at the time, read spoilers for NXT's tapings, and I was pretty depressed going into this. But I don't think you read results. They pulled a swerve because at NXT results, they had Owens coming out with the title. Well, Finn Balor won. So good job, WWE, on the swerve there on the dirt sheet and the marks. Good job there. That was perfect.
Yeah. Unless that or he wins it back.
Well, unless they're doing more tapings, because I mean at the tapings they didn't say anything about Owens versus Balor. And then Owens was coming out like at the end of the tapings. So like it's like a month from now where Owens comes out with the title. So I wonder if they're going to do something on the main roster with him.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe Balor loses the title on the main roster. But I will say this, man. They got to put over Owens tonight. And I know, and I know they're not going to do it because they're wanting to push Cesaro to the moon. And I can't explain how pissed off I am with the WWE for how poorly they're using Kevin Owens. I mean, it's asinine. It's terrible. It's those guys. And I'm going to say this too. Even if it's old legends like Michael Hayes that are saying stupid shit like, I wouldn't pay to see that guy. He looks like a guy, whatever. It just seems like something Michael Hayes would say. That dude needs to go. He doesn't need to have his job anymore. If he can't recognize that that's the way that the direction of the business is going, that in 2015, Kevin Owens is the perfect heel. He is believable. It makes no sense. It makes no sense for that to be what's happening. You know, I mean, why would you continue to bury a guy who has done nothing but perform? His promos are killer. He gets a great crowd reaction on both sides. He manages to get huge pops as a babyface, but he also works as a perfect heel. The troll spot was amazing. I mean, everything that the guy does is perfect. He's a perfect wrestling heel, and the only other better heel that you have in the entire company is Seth Rollins. The only other heel that you have that's better. He is better than Sheamus, the guy that you have the Money in the Bank briefcase on. He is better than he is. You may like Sheamus more because he's been around longer and he looks like a wrestler, but Owens is the best, and the fact that you keep burying him is only going to piss the IWC and, marks like me and just even the basic fans off even more. Like, you're hurting your ratings by doing this. Like, unless you have some huge long-term plan, which I highly doubt, and even if you do have a huge long-term plan, it's not going to be as good as it would be if you would just put him over now. Like, but that's my whole spiel.
Now it's too late. They should have put him over 2 months ago. That's just me. They should have put him over Cena, and it should have. But Vince got scared of his ratings. Wanted to do this Cena and Rollins thing, title for title, and that's it, man. Like they got.
I've said it before, and I'm gonna say it again, dude. Like I am so grateful to Vince McMahon for everything that he's given me. We wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation without him. I mean, and the fact that all pro wrestling has enriched my life up to these 30 years is great, but I will honestly believe that this company will be a lot better, and we will see like almost late 90s again heights of pro wrestling once he's gone. Once he is not working anymore, the show will get 20 times better. I feel like sometimes we blame it on creative writers, and it's honestly just that Vince has lost it, man. And every now and then creative does get good things past him. That's what I think is happening now.
Well, I don't know, because I guess because I find that hard to believe because Vince does get the final say on things, but then maybe it's just Vince doesn't care about certain things. Like the whole like, hey, what's planned for Cena, and then that's it. Like we all heard Punk say that a couple years ago. So maybe, but I will say this match was great. I will say this, and this is a prop to how good Owens is for those of you who have not been watching. A dude threw a streamer, and like for the first 5 minutes of the match, the crowd just didn't give a shit about the match. They were watching this guy get thrown out because he threw a streamer, and they started an Olay chant. And Owens literally looked at the crowd and went, "Oh," and just totally mocked Zayn, and it was epic.
Yeah, that was a great spot too. It's little shit like that makes him such a great heel, man. That's what I'm talking about.
But that's how you get a crowd back. You know what I mean? Like Sasha and Bayley had the high spot to get the crowd back, and all Owens had to do was mock Sami Zayn. It's simple things.
Because he's that good.
It's simple things. That set him apart. But I also found it odd that the streamer that got thrown was on the announce table after. Like, they had it rolled up, sitting on the announce table when they did the table spot. The match was great. I loved it. I like the Balor one because I'm with you. I think if Owens would have won, he would have been dissatisfied with where he was within the company. Because, and not so much for the reason that he's stuck on NXT, because I think NXT is going to be a big thing. It's going to become a main deal. Like I actually think NXT might get a TV deal in the near future. But I see, because like I try to reason it. Like Owens carrying NXT is a great idea, but Owens not on TV is a bad idea. So like it's a catch-22. So I was fine with either guy winning. I like Finn Balor winning more because I think that means that Owens is going to start getting some shine on the main roster. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, I gave the match an A overall, not an A+, not an A-. But honestly, and I wrote in my notes, it's like I feel like I didn't give it its fair shake because I felt like I was almost emotionally exhausted from the women's match that just killed it. I mean, the match was great. I mean, there weren't any really bad spots. But dude, I've said this every time Takeover rolls around, and Finn Balor either needs to do the paint every time or stop doing it. Because it seems like it's like I feel like that's why he doesn't get a whole lot of steam, and that's why people are kind of calling his championship reign kind of boring, because when he's on regular TV, it's just like, oh, it's just Fergal Devitt. It's like, no, you know what I mean? Like, and then if you were to do the paint like once, like a huge for like just for SummerSlam and just for WrestleMania, the way Triple H does those crazy intros, like that would be okay. But like every pay-per-view is kind of stupid because then it's like, all right, well, I'll give 80% through all the tapings, then I'll give 100% for the takeovers. It's a bad look, man. And I like both sides. I like the Demon gimmick. I like Finn just being Finn. I'm fine if they go with paint every time. I'm fine if they go without it every time. I just feel like you can't keep giving him this split personality thing, because then you're going to start to get fans picking one or the other. You know what I mean? And because of the flashiness, fans are going to pick the Demon. And it's like, then when you see him on NXT tapings, it's just like, oh, well, this is a squash, or he's not going to lose. And you lose any kind of suspense, for disbelief. It's I don't know. There's just something off about it, man.
Yeah, I can agree to that, but I like seeing the paint. So I would be cool if they did different paint, like if they did like different characters or something like that, like they did back in Japan. But I don't see where they would do that. I don't think they really have it feasible for them to do that. So, whatever. I'm happy with it, for now. I'll be interested to see what happens when he comes to the main roster, because I think he'll just have to do regular Finn Balor, because could you imagine doing that Demon walk for Mania? Like, that's a crazy walk.
They would do it the way they did it for the Takeover, where you had a bunch of guys and they were all off in the smoke in different spots. And then he's all of a sudden in the middle of the ramp or something.
I will say that was cool, though. His entrance was cool.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, and that's the thing, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you bring him up to the main roster and he works pay-per-views with being normal, and then he only does it for huge, like the end of every feud, even if it's not more than one, even if it's more than once a year, but like you can't do it at every single time he's on pay-per-view. Like it devalues it to me, and it also. I don't know, man. When you're a worker with that much behind you, you're the champ, dude. You need to be consistent. You can't just. It's poor booking. Shut up, Brady. What are you doing?
Your dog agrees.
Yeah, the dog agrees with me. The dog is not down with the Finn Balor face paint every pay-per-view.
So let's get into SummerSlam, man, because NXT Takeover was last night. But we've got SummerSlam in a couple of hours, so let's do some predictions here.
Cool.
Let's just start right from the bottom of the card. So we've got Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev, and this one's been a long time coming. I feel like Ziggler going to do that movie was very bad timing with this angle. This should have been done months ago. I honestly think that Rusev needs the win more, because he's been on such a cold streak. But I think Ziggler's going to get the win because of all the torment and all that Lana's had to go through on TV. What do you think?
I think SummerSlam's a babyface show, man. I think that there's no chance in hell that Rusev goes over. I think it's going to be Ziggler. And to your point, though, I think both guys equally need the win. So I think that you're kind of in a catch-22 spot as far as creative goes. But, Rusev is a huge-ass dude, and I feel like you just re-signed Ziggler. You just put him on this movie thing. I know for a fact that there were incentives put into his contract as far as, like, TV time, and he wanted to make sure he was going to get a push. We heard that it was like he was stalling on – he didn't want to sign, but in actuality, there were actual negotiations going on for his contract. It wasn't just like – he was stalling to re-sign. He was like, I'm going to re-sign, but it's going to be this and this and this and this. And if you don't give me that, then I'll leave. So I think he's going over, and I think we're about to see a huge, huge push with Dolph Ziggler.
I can't complain about that, because if we see a world title push, we're going to see Ziggler and Rollins again. And the last time those two faced, they stole the show. And then you've got all these guys coming up. You've got Owens. You've got Cesaro. All these younger guys that Ziggler can tear the house down with. Like, it's going to be great work. Even guys like Ambrose and Ziggler could put Reigns over hard. Just make him look like $1 million bucks.
And Ziggler's one of the few guys that I feel like could pull off a really good babyface main event with John Cena. You know what I mean? And those are really hard to do. But I feel like he could do it really well. I feel like it would. They should have pushed this guy I mean, we all know how I feel about CM Punk. So I feel like had CM Punk kept his mouth shut, we would have already had the Ziggler era. That whole 2012 time, like that would have been Dolph Ziggler had they just let CM Punk go and not given him the pipe bomb. And that would have changed history. And I mean, I get like the pipe bomb promo was great, and I did enjoy Punk's work. I'm not like completely throwing him under the bus, but I do feel like, in my humble opinion, man, I think CM Punk had him by a mile on the mic for sure. But I think in the ring, Ziggler has always been just as good as Punk, if not better, because he actually has pure athletic ability. It doesn't, you could tell with him, it wasn't him having done those moves a million times to finally get them right. And that's what it was with CM Punk. That's why I never thought he was the best in the world, because to me, he does not have natural athletic ability. He just learned it, and he worked really hard. There's something to be said about that, but that doesn't make you the best in the world. I love Mick Foley. He's a main event guy. He should have been a main event guy, but he was never the best worker in the ring because he never had the athletic ability that Shawn Michaels or Triple H or even The Undertaker had, He made it work with what he had, and that was great. And that's why he is Mick Foley, because no one works like him, because he couldn't work, like a pro athlete would. So he found his own way to work, and he made it work. That's awesome. But I feel like guys like CM Punk just learned the technical wrestling and just did it 1,000 times. And you can kind of tell every time that he's trying really hard to get it right. You know what I mean? And Ziggler just seems so fluid and effortless that I think that he's going to get a huge, huge, huge push. And I really feel like he could draw money if they actually put like the mainstream thing behind him, because the IWC already loves him.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Looks like I'm missing calls from work. So we're going to have to do this real quick because it looks like I'm going to have to run to the shop. So let's get a quick, let's finish up this predictions pretty quick here, bud.
All right, let's just go winners and losers.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Randy Orton versus Sheamus. I think Orton goes over, and I'll tell you why once we get to the main event.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, Cesaro versus Kevin Owens. After Owens lost last night, I think Owens is going to go over. I think Owens has to go over here.
I think they're putting over Cesaro, but I agree they should put over Owens. But I think, again, they're going to just continue to pour shit on Owens, and they're going to put over Cesaro because they want to push him to the moon right now. And he is over, so that's okay. I mean, I'm not that butthurt about it.
Right. King Barrett and Stardust versus Stephen Amell and Neville. I think that King Barrett and Stardust are going to get the win here, but I think it's going to be Neville that ends up taking the pin. I think we're going to see some ring time out of Stephen Amell, which I'm actually pretty excited about.
I think they're going to put over Amell and Neville. I thought at first that they were going to do like Stephen Amell and Neville versus whatever, and then hopefully work to a one-on-one Stardust versus the Green Arrow. But he kind of spoiled the fact that he's pretty much going to be wearing the Green Arrow gear. So I think this is just going to be the one-off, and they're not going to. I mean, they wouldn't have signed him to lose, and it wouldn't be good for his career. I honestly think he gets the pin on Stardust.
I didn't see the ring gear thing. I saw he debuted his gear, but I didn't watch the video. If it actually is the Green Arrow gear, then he's going to win. I don't think they bring in a guest just to take a loss on the one-off.
Right.
Agreed. Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper versus Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose. Wyatts have always beat the Shield, so I'm going to say the Wyatts win here.
Yeah, they're putting over Rollins and Ambrose for sure. Reigns and Ambrose for sure. Just because they've been, they don't know what they're doing, and Rowan not being there and not having Sting there really kind of fucked this whole thing up, and they're kind of playing catch up on it, and I think they know that, so they're just going to go ahead and put the baby faces over because that's what you do when you're in doubt at a huge pay-per-view.
All right, so now to the big one, and I'm just going in order of the card that I copied, which I know this isn't the exact order, but Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker. So let's get the big one out of the way here. I don't think there's a way that Taker can lose right now. I think you don't let him go 0-2 against Brock Lesnar. I hope they don't set up a rubber match, and I think they transition Brock into full babyface. I agree with you where Taker's going to get the win, Lesnar's going to hold up the hand thing. And if they don't, then I'll be surprised. But I think that's the way they're going to go with it. Taker gets the win. Lesnar does the babyface reaction at the end. Yeah,
I think that's what they're going to do if they do it clean. Everything I've heard has been it's all but confirmed for a run and finish. So I think they are building for a rubber match, which really, really sucks because I really don't want to see this 3 times. But I think that's what they are doing. And if they do, it's either going to be some kind of weird, cheap interference thing. They might have to go back on themselves and try to make Lesnar the heel again. which would be stupid.
Terrible.
But there's also, the idea that, Sting could get involved. There's also rumor that Stone Cold Steve Austin could be involved. Either Sting hits Taker and causes Taker to lose, and that turns that into that thing, or Austin comes in, hits Lesnar, and, causes that thing. So either way, I would prefer a run and finish and not having a rubber match. Or if they're going to have, not have a run and finish, then it should just be Taker clean. And and then just go ahead and have Lesnar go babyface, man. I would much rather see Bray Wyatt 2 at WrestleMania than see Lesnar 3.
Yeah, agreed. Elimination match: PCB versus Team Bad versus the Bellas. Honestly, don't know where they're going. I think I'll throw a weird one. I know it's supposed to be a babyface thing, but if they don't tease the Team Bad turning on Sasha, I think Team Bad gets the win. I think Sasha's going to get the win to make up for the NXT loss.
I think it's pretty much closed book that the Bellas are going over here. I think that on this huge show, since they've been pouring so much time into like Sasha Banks and Charlotte and the new NXT girls, I think you're going to have the Bellas go over and then on Raw talk about like, yeah, you had your revolution and we're still better. I think that's especially with Nikki still having the title. I think that's what they're going to do. But I agree. I think this one could go, honestly, all three ways, and it would be what it is.
The Bellas winning makes sense if you want to run it to Survivor Series.
Yeah.
I just think it's a hard run. I mean, you still got 2 more months, It's a hard run to do. So
yeah, but you have a lot of variables with all those girls, too, so we'll see.
That's true. Tag titles: Primetime Players versus New Day versus Lucha Dragons versus Los Matadores. The way they've been booked, I think New Day is getting their second title run. I hope they get their second title. I love the Primetime Players to death, but they need to get these other 2 teams out of here. Maybe New Day gets the win on someone other than the Primetime Players. That way there's another match between the 2 teams. But I think New Day really needs to get their steam back. So I say New Day.
Yeah, I'm going with Primetime Players just because I don't think that they're ready to do that just yet. And I think when they do that, it'll be Primetime versus New Day straight up. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do New Day too. So, I think it's either going to be Primetime or New Day.
All right, WWE Intercontinental title: Ryback, Miz, and Big Show. I know they're going to go with Ryback because we have said this is a babyface pay-per-view. But if there was ever a time where you should be putting the Miz over, it's right now.
Agreed. I think they're going to put over Ryback, but they should put over Miz. I agree. I think there's no chance in hell Big Show wins the title.
No. Big Show's in there for filler for somebody for Ryback to work to where he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
WWE title versus U.S. title, winner take all. John Cena and Seth Rollins. Now, earlier I said that Randy Orton was going to win against Sheamus. I say that because I think Seth Rollins is going to win. I think Super Cena is not going to Super Cena. I think that Rollins is going to win, but Sheamus is going to cash in, and that's going to be it. And
so
the reason
Sheamus is going to cash in, but Seth Rollins remains the U.S. champion, and so they keep the Cena-Rollins feud going just for the U.S. title?
I believe they'll do that for at least 1 more month. And the reason I say that is because if you watched Raw last week, they did the whole, like, I want my statue, blah, blah, blah. Well, Triple H says if you walk out with both titles, you've got it. And I don't, and of course, they could tease something with the Authority for some reason for them not to do that. But I don't see either guy walking out with both because I don't think WWE would copy Ring of Honor.
Yeah. And I could see, the Sheamus cash in, but to me, it would almost make sense to have
him cash in on Cena. It would make sense to have, but
you don't want Cena to win and go 16 times.
Not only that, I don't care if he goes 16. I don't want him to go 17. That's the thing. Do you want Cena's 16th win to be a 5-minute reign where he gets cashed in on? That's bad.
Oh, dude, he's going to surpass Flair. I don't think that's even. He's got too many more years left. He's got at least 5-6 years left.
I think he will, but I would rather if they gave him 1 more solid title run after he's built this U.S. title up, after he's put on 5-star matches. That way he's searing red hot again whenever he's got it. They're not going to do it.
I think Cena's going to get to 20 before it's over.
Oh, God, I hope not. But I think it would make in terms of babyface and heel, Sheamus cashing in on Cena makes more sense. In terms of this is the 16th win that ties Ric Flair, you don't want it a 5-minute run. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But I think Sheamus is going to cash in tonight, and I think they're going to get his title run out of the way. And I don't know. Maybe this will be the way they get the title on Reigns. I don't know. But as far as tonight, I see Sheamus cashing in after Rollins wins both.
Yeah, I mean that makes the most sense to me. I think you could be right on that one. But as far as the actual match itself, I do think Rollins is probably going over.
Yeah, he needs to. And Cena's the guy. He hasn't had a legitimate like one-on-one win. Every finish has been a little hairy. Cena is the guy. And even though he's going to lose the title, if Sheamus cashes in, it still legitimizes him for whenever he goes for it again.
I agree.
So, but that's going to do it for us with our predictions and our NXT review. Make sure to come back tonight. We will have a post SummerSlam review up hopefully tonight, provided technical issues don't kick us in the ass again. So join us again after SummerSlam. We will be here. As always, I'm Matthew Talon. That's Daniel John Schaefer. We're Mouth of the Mark, and we're getting the fuck out of here.
Peace.